What's up, peeps? It's time to level up your fandom. Nino's Corner has officially become a partner with the Autograph app. Go download that Autograph app, folks, to get all of your favorite podcasts, blogs, and more all in one place. Plus, get some exclusive rewards for being a Texas super fan. How does this work, folks? Well, if you're on Autograph, you get to look at different blogs and different YouTube posts and different podcasts, and you earn points for clicking on these links, looking at the videos, and just being a fan. These points are used for numerous things: March Madness tickets, pizzas during game weeks, and things of that nature. But just a little bit more about Autograph. Autograph was co-founded by Tom Brady, yes, the GOAT, Tom Brady, with the goal of getting the fans closer to the teams they love and giving them some rewards for being super fans just like you. Like I said before, folks, earn those points in the app by reading, listening, and following all the madness. Autograph is fueled by our love for the fans. Now it's your turn to be rewarded for your unwavering support and commitment to your team. Like I said before, download the Autograph app on your iPhone, on your iPad, on your computer, and use the promo code Ninos Corner to link yourself to all the different podcasts, all the different blogs, and everything about Texas. Yo, what's up, folks? Man, Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner. I know it's been a while, folks. Man, it's been a while. Look, folks, I'm in the military, right? So it's been crazy, man. They had me in Thailand for a week. They had me in the Philippines for a week. They had me everywhere. And also I'm in Alabama right now. So I'm kind of living down here for a little bit, doing some Air Force stuff. So it's my last 3 weeks before I go back home. So yeah, I've been here for a year, and so I'm so tired of Alabama folks. So I'm tired of hearing people say "Roll Tide" all the damn time. So it is what it is, man. But let's go ahead and get into these comments, man. I see we got Paige. What's up, Paige? What's going on? Oh man, my brother from another chick in 1515. I'm not gonna say what you're saying, but you know what? I will say it. He's saying Boomer Sooner, but I won't say it again. What's up, chicken man? Good to see you, brother. We got Gray Man here. He said, who else is transferring out? We're going to get into the transfers, man. This is very interesting to see that Texas is actually fortifying some of the spots that we need to fortify. We got CB, man. CB is like the resident historian for all Texas football stuff. Good dude to follow here on Twitter too as well, man. So CB, what's going on, brother? CB, aim high. Yeah, man. Most definitely aim high. But folks, we're going to talk about the portal, man. Texas has been very, very, very active in the portal. Oh, Cape's here. He said, Nino, are you worried about our secondary? After seeing the spring game, man, hey, look, we're going to talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to definitely talk about that. But look, man, I'm not worried really, man. It's spring. They still got a whole summer and the fall to get everything situated. We got great players back there, man. Derek Williams, we got Terrence Brooks, we got Manny Muhammad, we got Barron. I think it's going to be fine, man. We got better speed back there too as well. We're going to need better speed though, since we're going to the SEC too. But let's go ahead and get to these comments, folks. Let's get into just talking about the portal, man. Look, Texas, the portal has taketh, man. First off, we're going to talk about just the defensive tackle that Texas brought in, man. So Bill Norton, he is from Arizona, so coming from the old territory of Nansen, so look, getting him and getting Sevilla, getting some depth there at the defensive tackle position is great there for Texas, man. Look, we lose Sweat, we lose Murphy. We understand that Murphy's probably going to be a first round pick this year, right? And Sweat's probably going to be third or fourth round pick, but you're looking at probably the best interior tandem in the country, like this year, and one of the best probably in school history since Sean Rogers and Casey Thompson. Casey Thompson, Casey Hampton. That was a big fraudulent mess up. Not Casey Thompson. Hey, if Casey Thompson's playing defensive tackle at Texas, we got problems. Yeah, man. But Sean Rogers, Casey Hampton, hell of a defensive tackle tandem here at Texas. But Byron Murphy and Sweat have probably been the best tandem since then. So just losing those two. And bringing in Collins coming back and Broughton coming back and Hampton and Bledsoe and Mitchell. But look, we got to fortify that, man. We're going to the SEC. We got who else, man? We got Alex January there as well. We lose Zach Swanson today, right? And so he was playing, also on the line. But getting Norton today was awesome, 6'6", 325-pound guy. I think this is last year to play. He's played 5 years, so this is his last year to play. I think this is his COVID year, basically. But this is a guy that, man, we can fortify that line and just have a lot of rotation and a lot of bodies on that line. But you got him. You got Sevilla, too, as well. So we're going to have a lot of depth there. Do we have any war daddies that we had last year with Murphy and Sweat? Soon to be founded out, man. I don't know, man. To be honest with you, I loved Murphy last year, and you can look at the preseason draft, that me, and John had, and I said that Murphy was probably the pound for pound, the best player on the Texas roster. And so people gave me hell in those comments. Look, Murphy's going to be the first Longhorn taken in the draft this year, folks. So pound for pound, I thought Murphy was probably the best player that we had here on the team. But then you got Sweat, who just took every award home, first team All-American, the things that he has done here, man. So we shall see, man. We shall see. Gray Man says, get that UCLA. Yes. The kid from UCLA. He's 6'1", 6'2", about 320 pounds too as well. I mean, he's a monster. If we can pull him, I can never say his name right. It's just kind of hard to say his name. And then the kid from TCU is good too as well. But if Texas does that and brings forward, like DTs here, man, you're looking at who's going to leave because somebody's going to get their time. Is it Broughton? Does Collins think he's safe? Does a Mitchell play? Does he stay? Does a guy like Aaron Hampton? No, not Aaron Hampton. Yeah. Does he leave? Who else, man? Bledsoe, does he leave? Bringing in 4 extra bodies is a lot, but that's what you can do in the transfer portal to kind of supplement the things that you don't have here in the team, right? But I do like the UCLA kid. I do like the TCU kid. It's kind of shocking to see both those guys go into the portal at the same time, and then to see Texas heavily involved, especially after getting Horton and also Sevilla too as well. So we shall see. Yeah, so Gray says, get the kid from UCLA, get the kid from TCU, and then call it a day. That would be awesome. But it seems like this staff is definitely taking some more folks to as well. I think they're trying to probably go quantity. I wouldn't say quantity over quality because that just makes it so bad, right? But in the SEC, we're going to need sheer bodies, man. Just sheer bodies. The offensive lines in the SEC so much bigger than what we had, here in the Big 12. And so Texas is going to have to just throw a lot of bodies and rotate a lot. We don't have a big 366-pound defensive tackle like Sweat, who is, has the great feet like he has and is very athletic. It's going to be very interesting to see what Texas does in that line. But to supplement that, man, look on the opposite side. Look on the offensive line. The offensive line, we have no problems, man. Hey, 512, what's up, brother? Look, we have no problems, and we just lost Peyton Kirkland. Peyton Kirkland's going to Colorado, so going to, play for Coach Prime and going to play with my cousin too down there as well. And I kind of called that, I was talking to Nash about this, and I said, Nash, I just got a feeling he's going to go to Colorado. Colorado needs the depth. They need to try to shore up that line. And, Peyton Kirkland is a guy who's a huge kid, which is about 6'5" or 6'6", about 350 pounds. And you kind of see what Coach Prime is trying to do out there, trying to get that line, big, right? But you have to do a careful mix of portal guys and also kids that need to be developed. And Peyton Kirkland coming off that knee injury, he still is going to have to be developed, right? But 3 or 4 years ago, folks, prior to Sark getting here, if we lose a top 300 kid and he's a 6'6", 350-pound guy that can play tackle and guard here, and we lose him to the portal, we're crying, right? Because we just don't have the depth. This year, folks, man, we're deep. We're deep, man. Kelvin Banks, Hayden Connor, Jake Majors, Campbell, Cam Williams, Cole Hudson, Connor Stroh, Gooseby, who people think the world of and think he's going to be the future at left tackle, Jaden Chapman, right? Andre Kojo, Brandon Baker. I'm going on for on, man. And Cruz, Connor Robinson. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of talent that this team has on the offensive line, and so I'm very happy about that. It's just a matter of can we get that on the defensive line too as well, right, folks? So look, if Texas, I'm with Great Man here. You pull the kid from UCLA, the TCU kid, that would be outstanding. Is it going to happen? Do I see Texas pulling 4 tackles here? Look, it could happen. It could happen, but pulling 4 tackles here in the span of a semester, that means that definitely Texas is going to have some attrition. It means Texas is not comfortable with their defensive line room, and I think we can all kind of see that already. Sark kind of hinted at that at the spring game too as well. That things were coming on the horizon here for Texas for the defensive line. But also you got the kid, isn't the kid from Michigan supposed to hit the portal here pretty soon too? So look, man, we got options. We got options, and hopefully Texas is steadfast in that to try to get as many bodies as they can, but not just get bodies to have bodies. I feel like that's what we did the first year in Sark's tenure here was we were just taking bodies, man, because we needed guys because we had like 17 wide receivers and 12 offensive linemen, or like 7 or 8 offensive linemen, right? So we just needed to get bodies on the team. Texas is in a prime position where I think we're pretty deep at pretty much every position except the defensive line. So maybe the line is the opportunity for us just to get bodies to rotate and see what sticks and what fits. But PK and team had to figure out what's going to be that rotation, what's going to be that no kidding rotation. And if they do get a War Daddy, like the kid from UCLA, if they get him, oh my God, that'd be sick. That'd be nasty. But yeah, it's a 512 says only a few portal guys have worked out at Texas. So quite a few. But folks, this is a live call-in show too, right? So if you guys want to call in, the link is pinned in the comments, and also the link is in the video description. So just click on the link, it'll bring you in, and I bring you up, and you can have like a live phone call with me. We'll do something, like a Paul Feinbaum kind of show, right? But yeah, I wouldn't say only a few have worked out, right? Let's think about this for a minute. AD Mitchell worked out, right? Terrence Brooks, he came from the portal. He's been a starter. We got Makuba coming in this year, yet to be seen, but he's an all ACC player. Billingsley didn't work out. Who's the other guy we had? Ajay Hall, he didn't work out. Did we take any on the offensive line? I'm not sure. Yeah, Milton didn't really work out. We didn't use him too much. I think you might be right, Mr. 512, but I think this year is going to be the change of the guard at the, change of the guard for the porter position, basically, where I think these guys are going to really work out. Having a guy like Bond, I think Bond's going to be, outstanding. Catch the ball, Bond, catch the ball, but nah, man, he's going to be great, man. I think Knoblauch's going to be great too as well. Couple him with, with Helm. Who else we got? Blackshire, who was, a kid that Texas wanted in 2018, 2019 class, and he goes to Alabama. But he's like our third string, like linebacker that had that kind of depth. I think Silas Bolden, I want to see what he does when he gets here on campus. Bond, I said like Bond's going to be that guy. I'm worried about that. Who else we got that came in? Trey Moore, I think he's going to be a very good plus player here at Texas. We need that pass rusher, right? And so him and coupled with Colin Simmons, I think it's going to be outstanding. I'm just going through the list here, folks. Of course, man, Andrew Makuba, he's an Austin kid who never should have left Austin. But yeah, I think he's going to be good here too. I think he's going to start, him and Taft are going to start to rotate, and I think you're going to see a really good, tandem at that safety position next to Derek Williams. And Matthew Golden, of course, I think he's going to be fine too. I'm not worried about the offensive side of the ball. The one thing that I am kind of worried about is Texas has so many weapons at the wide receiver position. You got Bond, right? You got Golden. You got Bolden. You got Jonte Cook. You got Wingo, right? So who else, man? You got Arian Hampton. You got Niblet. We have weapons. We have a lot of weapons. Then you couple that with Knoblauch, and you couple that with the Gunnar Helms and just the slew of running backs we have with C.J. Baxter. Also Jaden Blue as well, folks, right? And then having a guy like Trey Wisner, who I'm high on Trey Wisner, man. I am high on Trey Wisner. And his uncle's really cool. He comes into the chat every now and then. Who else, man? Christian Clark and Jared Gibson. Texas is deep, but talking about running backs, let's talk about Savion Red. Savion Red, man, hits the portal today. Expected, expected. Even though Savion Red was probably one of my favorite players here in the team. Hold on a minute. Let's see what CB said. So CB says that Nair, because of Andrew, didn't work out. Yeah, I think Nair was going to be a plus player here at Texas. So Mr. 512 says Bowden is going to shake up the starting lineup. Watch. Yeah, I got to feel him. And Sark has weapons. I think this is the first time he feels comfortable having the 5 or 6 deep wide receiver room, man. He has weapons this year. Guys like Parker Livingstone are not getting talked about enough. A guy that's 6'4", that runs a 21.5 or 21.6 or something like that in the 200. A long strider. He was coming into his own those first 2 games prior to him tearing his knee up in high school. But getting back to Savion Red, man, he's the guy that brought the juice last year from the running back position. Just the physicality, the toughness. If I'm not mistaken, he came from Grand Prairie, right? So he was kind of like everything there. Wide receiver, running back, quarterback. I mean, they made the playoffs because of him. And he's one of those guys that was asked to do so much at his high school that he never got a chance to hone in just on one position. And I think if Savion Red were a guy that would have honed in only at running back or only at slot, he would have been just an athlete that would have been a 4-star recruit. I think it was a high 3-star guy, but stars matter, but sometimes they don't, right? Savion Red is a baller, and he's gonna be really good on somebody's team. And I hate to see Savion Red leave. He was one of my favorite guys to watch because he had the attitude and the toughness, that he really enjoyed playing for Texas. And that's something that you gotta love. You gotta love, man. But it's going to be interesting to see where a guy like that goes because he's one of those guys that Texas had out there, and he got a lot of snaps last year, so he has a lot of film, and so teams see his physicality, and so just come out of spring, spring games. We'll see, which teams had like injuries at the running back position, which teams are needing, like backs because like just the production wasn't there, maybe. All right, so I think Red's going to be pretty good somewhere, man, and I'll be following him for real. But if we look at just the guys who have left Texas from the portal, I'm going to go through the list right here, folks. Right. So Swanson, Zach Swanson, we didn't use Zach Swanson pretty much at all here at Texas. So scholarships are a premium now. Texas is going into the SEC. We got to win, immediately. So Zach didn't play a lot here. So not really a big hurt that he's gone. But he was a guy that was getting developed behind the scenes, right? Now, one guy that to me just hurts is Billy Walton. I watched Billy Walton in high school down at SOC, and you saw the maturation process of him from his junior to his senior year and just how good Billy Walton was getting. And then you see him come to Texas and put on weights like 6'3", 230 pounds or so, 235 pounds. You see him start to get bigger. All the reports that is, more physical. He's always been a freak athlete, just as far as, foot speed, a nice, quick, like first step. And we need those pass rushers. So Billy Walton was one of those guys that I did not want to see leave. That's one of those guys I wanted to see get developed. But coming as an edge and understanding that Colin Simmons is coming, and you got Zena who is, impressing. And then also you got Colton Vasek, who, Lord have mercy, you guys saw him in the spring game? Colton Vasek, that dude is sick, bro. Baron Sorrell also coming off the edge. Ethan Burke, right? We already said Colin Simmons, right? Trey Moore. I didn't talk about, Trey Moore. So you start to see everything, how it's stacking up. And you start to see that in that pecking order, every year the coaches, what they're trying to do, folks, they are recruiting over you. They are recruiting. They're trying to recruit somebody better than you every year. It's competitive, right? Chris Ross is a guy that everybody knew had a ton of talent. He has since transferred as well. All right. Next guy is going to be Samaje Burrell, linebacker. This is one that I hate to see leave. But Texas is like in a pretty good position there. You got Anthony Hill, and you got Benda. You got LaFau. Who else playing? You got Blackshire there as well. So we got players there to fill, right? So Tap's another guy, man. I did not want to see Tap leave, just because of Texas video, man. Texas is live. Texas, but anyways, man, Tap's from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana, right? And so look, man, I love my folks from the boot. So having Tap come with the gold teeth in his mouth, it just reminds me of home, man. You know what I'm saying? And he's one of those guys I think that's going to be a freak, just as far as his raw ability. And so that's one of the guys you put in the easy bake oven and let him bake for a little bit, put some seasoning on him, let him develop, and I think he's going to be a great player, like in that 3 year range. But man, we'll see where he goes, man. Maybe he goes to LSU. He's like he's from the boot. Here's what it is. Juan Davis hit that portal, but he got right back to Texas. That was one of those. Oops, I didn't mean it. Darian Brown, man, this is the guy that I think every Texas player and every Texas fan is rooting for. He had the stroke. So coming out of Beaufort, Georgia. Yeah, but Darian Brown's one of those guys I think we're all rooting for, man. So, kudos to Darian Brown. He's leaving as a grad transfer, so you got to see that, man. Isaac Pearson as the punter. He's gone. Xavier Bryce, he's gone to North Texas. BJ Allen Jr. is going to North Texas. Larry Turner Gooden, he's going to San Jose State. Casey Kane, he's going to UNLV over there with Marion, Brendan Marion. Malik Murphy going to Duke, man. I want to watch a lot of Duke. I'm saying Isaiah Nayer going to Nebraska. Sawyer Gordon Welch, he left going to Coastal Carolina. Jalen Catalon, who I think we were all expecting a lot of good things last year, just didn't live up to the hype last year. He's going also to Nevada as well. Terrell Carter going to Auburn. Charles Wright, he's left, I think, going to Appalachian State. Jaron Thompson going to Auburn. Who else do we have that left? Keaton Crawford, he's going to Nevada. And Peyton Kirkland going to Colorado. So all those names of the players that are in the portal from Texas, the only ones that really got significant playing time, Savion Red, right? Keaton Crawford, he got some playing time, but I think we kind of recruited over him to Israel. Jaron Thompson, but that's at the safety position. I think, that was one of the things that this staff wanted to do was get better at safety as far as speed. Jaron Thompson is one of the smartest players in the field, folks. I think we all saw that last year and, his previous year as well. Smart player. Texas wanted to get more speed in the secondary, and I think they actually secured that, just with the pickups and also with the class here this year for 24. Man, check out Filsamy. He's a fast kid. Let me see who else got playing time. Terrell Carter got time, but not enough because you got to think we had like the best tandem in college football last year. We talked about Jalen Catalon. He didn't play that much last year either, folks. Let's see who else. Thank God for Murphy. We got to give props to Mr. Malik Murphy. There came in for 2 games and like held it in like a soldier, man. So so kudos to him. But Casey Kane played 2 years ago. Didn't play any last year. Turner Gooden didn't play. BJ Allen didn't play. Bryce didn't play. Isaac Pearson, punter, of course. Darian Brown, he didn't play. Tap came in like rotations and spurts, but not a lot of playing time. Samaji didn't play either. Chris Ross didn't play. Billy Walton didn't play. Zach Swanson didn't play. So yes, Texas looks like they had a lot of players going to the portal, which we did. But these are players that Texas wasn't really counting on, to be those frontline guys off the top. Let's check out the comments right quick. So 512 says Bowden is going to shake up the starting lineup. Watch. CB says, I remember Red going at someone on the sideline in Stillwater. That was Brendan Marion. He was going off on Brendan Marion. You know what I'm saying? That was funny. 512 said Red has the energy that we need. Yeah. Vasic will do what Burke did last year. That's going to be interesting. I think Vasic is more of a natural pass rusher than Burke is. I think Vasic has more the length. I think he's a little bit quicker. It's going to be interesting to see, but hey, get the defensive ends, get the edges, get as many as you can, and just see where they fall in, man. I'm a big Vasic fan, and also for us to stealing from Oklahoma, it just makes sense. Cape goes to Kyle Woods is in the portal now too, and CB goes Darian Brown and the Gabriel Floyd, man, a blast in the pass, linebacker from California. We're both part of the 2019 class. Both never played at Texas, but both are playing football again. Exactly. I think Floyd had an offer to Oregon. He turned it down, and I forgot where he's playing, CB. What school is he playing at, CB? You know what I'm saying? I forgot, man. But, yeah, losing Savion Red. I think that's the portal pick that I'm not the craziest about. I like Savion Red, but you got to understand he wants playing time. And, honestly, the way that running back room is stacked up right now is truly amazing. But folks, hey, if you want to dial in, call in show, hit the link in the comments, that's pinned to the comments, folks, or in the video description on YouTube. Hit that link, man. You can call in and we can chop it up for a few. But let's look at some more comments here. We're getting more comments flowing in. Yeah. So Vasek and Burke, I want to talk about this, Mr. 512. Both of those guys played at Westlake, right? One was on one side, the other on the other side too as well. And it was beautiful. Like to see those guys rushing the pass rusher. Both guys, what 6'6", what 6'5", 6'6", but 240, 245. Just long and lengthy. Florida is in the UFL, Michigan. I did not know that. It's in the UFL. That's interesting. But hey, folks, tell me about this spring game. I was actually in Connecticut. I didn't get a chance to go to the spring game. My son, he had his soccer game this week. He had his soccer game and his baseball game, the first one of the season, like this year. So I couldn't go to the spring game this year. So I flew home, went with the wife, and watched the kid play. And I missed the spring game on TV, so I had to go to Nash's page, and Nash had it chopped up. So I ended up watching it play by play. Man, the offense looks good, and Arch Manning looks so comfortable. But first off, man, Texas fans, we just had Quinn Ewers. He just took us to a 12-1 season, won the Big 12, went to the college football playoffs, right? It's Quinn's job to lose, people. Quinn is not getting upseated by Arch. I'm seeing all the chatter here on the channels that everybody wants Arch to come in and play. Look, man, it's Quinn's job. It's Quinn's job to lose. Don't start that narrative, man. Don't start it. We do not need no quarterback battles. If you were around Texas the time I was there when Vince left, we had Colt McCoy and Jevin Sneed, right? Who's going to play? And Jevin Sneed was a highly recruited guy, and Colt was a 3-star. Colt beats him out, and Jevin Sneed ends up transferring to Ole Miss and has a pretty good career there. So it actually benefited both guys, but we don't need that right now. We got a guy that just took us 12-1 and also took us to the college football playoffs. And I think that this team right now, as constructed, Nash says this all the time. Nash Talks Texas says this all the time. Shout out to Nash, by the way. He says this is probably the most talented Texas team that he's seen on paper. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. RIP Jevin Sneed, man. Rip Sneed. Funny story. I remember seeing Sneed come on campus and just seeing how big that kid was, man, coming on campus. CB, what was he, like 6'4" or so, man? But he had the frame. He had like a no kidding quarterback frame. And it's like everybody was expecting once Vince left, it was going to be like the Jevin Sneed show, and it didn't happen because we had this little short kid by the name of Colt McCoy come in and just kind of steal the show. And if you hear some of the reports from some of the players that played back then, man, if you guys know, I was the RA for the football players back in the day, right? So all of them were like, "Hey, man, this guy Colt McCoy is pretty good. He's pretty good." I was like, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, man, Colt's that guy." Colt, he wins the job, and he's one of the top players to ever play here at the University of Texas, and I probably should have won the Heisman while he was here, and probably should have played for 2 national championships and won one if he didn't get that shoulder injury. But it is what it is. I'm not going to cry for sport milk. But this roster is fully loaded. Once you look at the weapons that Texas has, and just the actual composition of this offensive line, I think this offense is primed and ready to put up a lot of points. Bond and Cook, I think, are going to be outstanding. Wingo, he's going to have to see the field, folks. After seeing what we saw there in the spring game, Wingo's going to have to see that field. I'm ready to see what Silas Bowden. I'm with Mr. 512 on this one. I'm ready to see what Silas Bowden is going to do, man, because he's one of those guys I don't think Texas has had on the roster like him in quite some time. I kind of want to comp him to like a Daje Johnson, but he's a lot smaller than him. But he's a guy that can play anywhere. You might line him up in the backfield to take like 2 or 3 snaps a game, maybe, or like a sweep or something. You might put him in the slot, but he played primarily on the outside when he was at Oregon State last year. He's just a kind of a freak athlete, man. And he's a guy that goes up and gets the jump balls and everything. So I don't know how Sark has so many weapons. I don't know how he's going to utilize all these guys. But the wide receiver position, we have yet to see Sark really rotate wide receivers, right? That's just not kind of in his MO. His MO is to have these guys get continuity, but I think he has so much talent here on his team at the wide receiver position. How is that going to translate? And then what is Texas going to do once they put Knoblack on the field with Gunnar Helm? So let's say, for instance, let's say Texas goes 21. They have two running backs, one tight end. We know if you're going 21 and Gunnar Helm's in, Gunnar Helm's a better blocker than Knoblack. So you can kind of hide a scheme that you want to do because if Gunner's in the game, if Helm's in the game, the team is not tipped off to know if we're going to pass or run the ball because he is a really good blocker for a tight end. But if we go 21 with Jaden Blue and CJ Baxter in the game, and you couple that with Gunnar Helm, who is an underrated pass catcher too as well, very sneaky at it, who are your wide receivers, right? Is it Bolden and no, not Bolden. Is it Isaiah Bond and Cook? Is it Bond and Golden? Like, do you have Wingo in there? I mean, it's going to be interesting. I would guess it would probably be Cook and Bond, but just depending on the packages. Now, if Texas goes, just a traditional like 11 personnel with the one tight end, and let's say, for instance, they put in Knoblack at a tight end, I think that tips off everybody that it's probably going to be a passing play. But you have a no kidding a guy who, how big is Knoblack? Like 6'4", 220 or something like that, 230. He's just a big dude, man. Give me a second. Let me see Knoblack is, we got him at 6'4", 220 pounds, right? Running about a 4'4", like a 4.5 40, right? And so you have him at tight end, catching the ball. You know what I'm saying? You have Cook. You have Isaiah Bond. You have Golden or Bolden or Wingo. And then in the backfield, let's say you have Jaden Blue in the backfield, who's really good at, like running the ball, but also a hell of a receiver at the backfield, who probably has some of the most sure hands in the team. You have all those guys, all those weapons. And then the offensive line, if they protect like they did last year, which I think they're going to be actually better this year, but just for the continuity purposes, just having, guys who have started 3 years in this line. Also Hayden Connor, who started 4 years in this line, basically starting next year. And the Jake Majors, who's 5 years in this line now. And then bringing in a guy like Ken Williams, who at that size is a massive guy with those great feet, man. Texas offense is going to be explosive. And I think Sark understands that they had to be explosive because I don't know if Sark knows what he has on the defensive line yet. And if Sark doesn't have what he wants to have on that D line, he's going to have to score more points this year. Texas cannot get into the game that we played last year. It's like we scored 30 points and we let off the gas. Right now, we got to go for full throttle. We got to go 2019 LSU. Don't matter if you're playing Appalachian State, Western Carolina, Texas, Florida, Alabama, Georgia. You go put 60 points on everybody. You go do it because points are going to be at a premium in the SEC. And if we're bringing in all these weapons, we need to use these weapons. Cameron said one of the best lines, man, I'm paid in full. So what's the use of having soldiers if you don't use them, right? Yeah, we need to use them. We got to use them, bro. And so if we bring in all these wide receivers, all these weapons, we have to use them because I think we understand that we're going to have to overcompensate for maybe some of the lack of defensive depth on that line that we're going to have in 2024. Now, if I'm proven wrong, if we go get some bona fide depth there, if these players kind of shock us into being something that we really haven't seen yet, then slap me around, dude. I'm here for it. Because if that happens, this is going to be a very deadly team from both sides of the ball. Secondary is one where I think in the passing game last year, we were 110th or 115th out of 132 teams last year. I think this year, if Texas can get into the 60s, right? If Texas cuts that in half and gets to around 60, right? 60th in the nation in pass defense, that's going to pay dividends for us because we were one of the worst in the nation last year. But if the additions of like an Andrew Makuba, couple that with getting Barron back, he's coming back and playing, nickel. Terrence Brooks and Manny Muhammad on the outside, with Derek Williams and Michael Taft, and having that experience, I think it's going to be very, very fruitful, man. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Oh man, Justin Dude said rip to Arthur Whittington, which is Jordan Whittington's uncle. Man, I didn't hear about that, man. Yeah, man. So so rest in peace to the Witt's uncle, man. But if Texas, can no kidding shore up that secondary, I think Texas is going to do some great things. But also everything starts in the line. We got to shore up that defensive line, man. We have to shore up that defensive line. If that doesn't happen, it's going to be a long season when it comes to running the ball. And Texas was one of the best teams in rush defense in the country last year. So can we actually duplicate that this year? It's going to be hard to duplicate it. But can we put enough bodies out there to kind of shore up the line, to just assure that we are a force to be reckoned with, and we can hold our own? Can we just hold our own? That's the main thing. Can we hold our our own? Let's see what else we got, man. We're going to hear about 40 minutes, man. We got 57 of you guys in here, man. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, folks. It helps out a lot, man. Helps me grow the channel, man. Been doing this for a while, man. Look, man, I know it's been crazy. It's been crazy, man. Just military's just had me everywhere. I've been kind of out of the country and stuff, man. But more stuff to follow, man. Also, tune into Wednesdays. SEC Connect. You got myself. You got Steven, from FP. You got Chris from the Hornstown podcast. We got Ty from ATS Sports and Jay from from Unfair Sports. Every Wednesday, the SEC Connect at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we talk all SEC ball: Texas, OU, everybody, Alabama. So that's a really good time. We're averaging about 150 to 200 people in those streams every week. So last couple of weeks we didn't record because the spring games were going on. We want to hold off for you guys and then have a big one this week, man, to talk about all the spring games. So yeah, tune in there. SEC Connect, man. SEC Connect. Those are the homies. But man, other than that, folks, I think that's all I got for today. Unless you guys got any questions, any comments that you guys have. But other than that, man, good to see you guys, man. Good to have you guys back on board, man. I miss talking to all you guys. Yeah, just tune in again next week. I probably have maybe like another stream tomorrow or two as well. Just depending on some information that drops or doesn't drop. But hey, man, appreciate it. Texas is also heating up on that recruiting trail. Man, we are doing the damn thing. Sark knows what he's doing, but I don't really get heavy into recruiting here until probably the season starts. It's going to be hard to keep up with a bunch of this stuff, and also getting kids in the next cycle is going to be hard because you got to keep them, right? You always see that happening. But also high school athletes. You guys know I do my section where I interview high school athletes. I got a couple on deck that I'll be doing here pretty soon. And so if you guys have any high school athletes that are some like hidden gems that don't get all the praise, that aren't the 3 and the 4-star and the 5-star guys, that you see me interview, like you see me interview the Connor Strolls and the Goosebys and the Kojos, and you see me interview some old players like the Tim Crowders and the Tony Hill. Tony Hill's my boy too, man. So you guys see me interview like some bigger names and some bigger recruits. But if you guys see some of those guys that are guys that are kind of hidden gems, guys that might be in that 2-star range or might not even have a star, but have the opportunity to be seen and do great things. I got it. I think I featured here 2 years ago before he blew up was Samples from Harker Heights. He's now playing at Houston. Man, hell of a player. He wasn't getting a lot of shine. We got him, man, and it was good to see him go to Houston. Another guy we had here, Jaden Jackson out of Alabama. His dad, Coach Jackson, really good dude, man. He is from Dothan, Alabama. He's a guy that ended up picking up some offers too after the interviews here, Michigan, Florida State, the whole nine. So you guys know any kids that have great talent, send them, just send me their film and DM me. And I'll see if I can get an interview with them, and we'll talk about their film, and we'll talk about just their aspirations as a college athlete, man. But hey, man, it's been on here 45 minutes, man. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys, man. Portal giveth, Portal taketh away. Sad to see Savior and Red go, but we're pretty deep at the running back position. And it's good to see the additions of guys like Savea. Of course, that was in the previous semester. He actually played in the spring game, but also getting a guy like Billy Horton, man. What I'm saying? Well, it's a Bill Norton, not Horton. Horton's one of my boys. I have a friend named Billy Horton that's in the Air Force with me. You know what I'm saying? But Norton, having him on the team, 2 man, 6'6", 325 pounds, throwing bodies at that defensive tackle position. Does Texas pick up more DTs here in this next portal cycle? And if they do, what tackles are going to leave? Because if we do bring in more, we should expect some attrition. But folks, man, I appreciate you. Horns always up. Hook them, folks. Hook them all day long.